call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call to order, roll call, starting on my right.
Councilperson Josh Arn.
Councilperson Brent Fire.
Mayor Jimmy John King.
Councilperson Craig Anderson.
Councilperson Jeremiah Elgin.
Looking for approval of tonight's agenda. Any additions?
Should be good to go from what we've given you.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve, we have a second.
Second.
We have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that'll carry. We're looking for approval of the council meeting minutes of January 14th, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Any motion and a second, any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that also carries. That'll take us into finance and budget. You got the accounts payable with the additional accounts payable listing there. Any questions? Directing the finance director, Carla, please.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve finance and budget. Do we have a second?
Second.
Questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That also carries. That'll take us right into motions and general business, and for tonight, the first, motion or general business we have is a noise dog complaint. We have Herb Schmidt. Herb, would you like to step up and have to say what you have to say here? We've got you gave us a copy. And I believe
I'm Beth.
Beth, you're on the other side, correct? I mean, you're each on one side of the house or the other? Just don't take County Sheriff's Department update. So Sheriff Torgerson, I assume that'll be you to start with.
I'll give it a try. It's really pretty simple. I'll wait till these guys are done. We've had some changes in the office, and I wanted to, we're making a kind of a tour around the county to all the jurisdictions that have contracts with us so that they can meet and see people. And you know, this is the easy one because I think you know these guys already, and Kelly already introduced himself to some degree, so that was easy. So yeah, you already know these guys. Terry Waleski retired. We have a lot of movement starting to happen. So Terry retired on Friday. Brian Howard is our new chief deputy on the law enforcement side, so the way our office is set up. Sheriffs are required to have detention services provided for each county that they are responsible to. And so Brian, for the last 8 years, has been on the detention side of our office. Prior to that, I'll let him kind of talk about some of his history. But that's where he's been, and so we moved Brian to the law enforcement side, and Jim Schuler, who is not here, but you might recognize, some of you might recognize his name. He, for the last probably 2 to 2.5 years, was the captain of our investigations area, and our PIO, our public information officer, so you saw him on the news and whatnot. He moved to the detention side, taking Brian's spot. And then Kelly is our brand new captain, formerly sergeant, and I'll let him kind of talk about that. But there's a lot of other moves going to happen. We've got, just kind of give you a heads up as what's coming down the pipe here real fast. Lee Rossman, who's been within our office, again, also for about 33 years, is retiring. He's currently a lieutenant in our investigations area. He's retiring in less than a month, or about a month from now. He's the one in May. That's right, geez Louise. And the next one, Mike Bromberg, which I'm sure you also know Mike. Mike was a long time in our emergency management area, both as a deputy and then spent a lot of time there doing that. And then he's been more recently the captain who is the commander of our violent crime enforcement team, so the regional drug task force, drug gangs and guns task force. So Mike's doing that. Mike is leaving middle of April. He was leaving in first part of June, and all the numbers came together and he decided he needed to go sooner. So with that, we're gonna have a lot more changes. We're gonna have a whole bunch of potentially 3 more new patrol sergeants, We have one new patrol sergeant out there now, and potentially 3 more. So a lot of movement, a lot of new faces. So with that, I'll Brian, why don't you come on up and you can tell those folks a little bit about you, not that they don't know much. There you go.
You guys are losing like 100+ years just like that.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Within 3 months.
Yeah, we sat around this morning going, wow, we should, now we can't ask Terry. Terry doesn't know that. So, Terry's gone. We just have to figure it out. But anyway, Brian.
Hello, everybody. I'm Brian Howard, no most again. Started with the sheriff's office in 1994. Cheryl and I were reminiscing earlier. I was your cops officer. I worked in patrol the whole time. I was your cops officer from 2004 to 2007 here in Stewartville. At that time, I got promoted to sergeant. I was a sergeant from 2007 through 2013. Canine officer from 98 through 2013, had 3 dogs that I worked, was the unit trainer for a while, did the judging and stuff for the canines. 2013, I got promoted to captain. I was the drug force. At that time, I was the drugs task force. Now it's the violent crime enforcement team. I was the captain of that division for about 18 months until the sheriff appointed me as the chief deputy of detention in 2015. And like the sheriff said earlier, I've been down there for 8 years now in the jail, and it started on Monday after Terry retired on the law enforcement side. So, thank you. Nice to meet everybody.
You got Brian's group?
Yes.
All right, so again, you guys pretty much know who I am, Kelly Lee. Born and raised Spring Valley right down the road, so I'm kind of a hometown boy. I used to live here in town for a few years when I first moved back. So after I worked down in Fillmore County for a little while, went up to Dakota County, spent about 9 years up in the metro, and then came back home here. So I've been, I was hired under Sheriff Borkhardt. So I've been here at the Sheriff's Office about 16 years. Had a great opportunity to do many different things. When I was just a regular patrolman, I had a K-9. I worked inside doing prisoner transport, court security, civil, and the utility deputy spot, kind of a coverall. Wherever they need you for the day, you go cover type thing. And then 2019, Sheriff Torgerson promoted me to sergeant, and I worked the road for a little bit, and then was transferred into the what we call now the STEM, the Staff Training and Emergency Management Division, where I worked for about 2.5 years or so, or about a year, I guess about 1.5 years, 2 years, somewhere in there. And then just recently here in January, again, Sheriff Torgerson promoted me to captain, and I got transferred out of staff development and back to the main office downtown, where I'm now going to be the patrol captain. So you guys will probably see me a little bit more and hear me a little bit more, and hopefully I'm down a little bit more and attend a few meetings, and along with Deputy Owen and such like that. But in a nutshell, that's about me. So, like I said, I think most everybody knows who I am when we talked before. So.
I'm glad to have you both where you are. I'm glad you're gonna be working with us. I think we've got a good team down here now. So thank you all very much. Thank you. Agreed.
One other item, just a heads up, it's contract time, Bill. So we will be talking about that real soon, because generally we try to get that to you in March, if not at the latest early part of April, so we can start talking about the next 2 years or however that's going to play out. So that will very likely come from Brian, so it'll be a conversation the two of you we can start having, and we'll talk about it. We haven't even had a chance to talk about that. It's been so much over the last month and a half here leading up into the first part of March now. Well, actually, yeah, the last 2 months. It's been really all about transition in the office and making sure we're not missing something and getting things done. And Brian spent the whole day yesterday, couldn't use his email because it was being downloaded and shared and taking files from Terry's old files into his, and he was completely out of commission yesterday with that. So we think we're getting to a point now where we can start getting more focused on that stuff and get ready to go. So looking forward to the new faces, the fresh ideas again as we move forward. So.
Yep, we'll obviously have ideas ourselves, because as the council's reviewed this over the last year a little more thoroughly, they've got some language changes that we think would be beneficial for the community.
Okay.
And so there'll definitely be things we'll want to visit with you.
That would be something we, you guys at least should get together and, right here as soon as possible and start talking about that.
Yep, because each of the council have offered ideas of some things they'd like to see or the future, and so.
I see you open at 7, so I'll stop through on my way.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, and that is the neat part of it, that, I mean, this is really, this group here really needs, they really need no introduction, because all three of us had kids that went through the Stewartville School District, and, so we know this town, and we know lots of faces and lots of people, so it shouldn't be too hard to work that out here, so. All right, as long as you have other questions about stuff, I'm happy we're gonna, I learned about this dog ordinance thing too. I don't know if it was yesterday, but I know we talked today, briefly, so, yeah, there's definitely something we can figure
It was
out.
brilliant to put them both on the same agenda, right? And literally, you could not have answered that any better.
Hold on, Cheryl.
You know that, like, little stuff like that drives people crazy, and there's no way you can answer it better than what you did.
So I feel,
We'll see.
yeah, you can't help but, feel for the neighbors, that there's nothing more frustrating when you have something like that you can't control on your own, so. Anyway, unless there's any other questions, I'll get out of your way. Go home and have dinner.
Congratulations again, you guys, let's go.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, it's supposed to be. You guys are also welcome to stay for the whole meeting.
I'm gonna go home and have dinner, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
well, and Kelly can go start on that dog orders. Brian, you can get ready for the contract talks.
Yeah. Wait.
Got some notes here, Brian.
I think you gotta get hold of
Yeah, actually.
Hey, congratulations again, man.
Yeah, just come out and get me.
All right, our next item under, business is Homestead
Wow, I don't know if
County Annual Maintenance Agreement.
All right.
You leave Jason. It was the Homestead County Public Maintenance Annual Agreement. Attached, please find the annual maintenance agreement is submitted by Homestead County. This agreement covers County Road 106 from Highway 63 intersection to south, the Point Drive southeast, 0.84 miles, and County Road 35 from County Road 8 east to the I-90 bridge, 0.42 miles. The city is reimbursed by Homestead County in the amount of $6,527.32, which is up from last year's amount of $5,220.12. Public Works Director Hale is recommending approval of the contract. So the council action requested would be to approve this agreement as submitted by Homestead County. Questions or discussion? Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. That takes us on to the resolution for MSAS fund advancement. Bet this is gonna be generous. Request for municipal state aid funding advance. The 2023 CIP North project is on our municipal state aid system as Route 105. We are planning to utilize our state aid funds to pay for eligible items for this project. The plans have been approved by our District 6 aid engineer. Of the $3,140,215.79 of the total project bid, $2,298,880.79 would be eligible for payment by our state aid funds. We currently have a balance of $930,956.56 in our state aid account. Following the municipal state aid construction account advance guidelines, we are able to advance up to 5 times the amount of our current construction allotment. Our current construction allotment is $206,046, which allows us to request an advance of $1,030,230. Our next 5 years of allotments will go to pay off the interest-free advance until the $1,030,230 has been paid off. This likely won't take 5 years, as it is likely that our yearly allotment will increase. So the council action tonight would be to approve a resolution requesting that the Commissioner of Transportation approves this advance for financing approved the municipal state aid street project of the municipality of Stewartville in the amount of up to $1,030,230. Jana, what do you got to say about this?
So this is what we talked about coming into this project, asking for this advance. We're still at a level green for allowing to advance money like this. And as I stated in there, it likely won't take 5 years. And with our next item on the agenda, I can explain more to that. But as our system grows, our percentage of the pot, as our system grows, hopefully we'll be taking more of the percentage of the pot. And of course, it also depends on how much the legislature puts into the pot, but our allotment should be going up. And we are asking for the max. We could ask for more. We have the ability to fund more, but we can't actually ask for more. But this allows us to borrow this money from ourselves, interest-free. So we don't have to bond for this portion of it. It's literally just this municipal state aid funds sitting in a bank account, and not everybody does a project the same every year. And so we can ask to spend some of the money that's there as long as we're willing to pay it back so others can then spend their money.
What is eligible, what can we use this money on, what's eligible?
So eligible are any of the street items and we are 100% eligible on our storm sewer items for this project. Every project is evaluated for storm sewer of how much is actually eligible. This one is 100% eligible for our storm sewer. So our bituminous, our aggregates, curb, gutter, sidewalk, retaining walls, our subdrain system, all of that, plus our storm sewer system, those are all eligible items. So that is why I'm recommending asking for the next 5 allotments. One, I do foresee our allotment going up, because we are going to have significant mileage changes to our system here next year. Which would then mean it wouldn't take us 5 years to pay it off.
So was this million figured into the approximate per foot cost of the project, or will this lower the per foot cost for the homeowners?
We do not lower the per foot cost based off of this. Those per foot costs for the homeowners were based off of a narrowed street. So we had already taken off this widening and things like that. We don't give property owners a benefit of not paying for the street because they have state aid funds. The state aid funds help pay for a portion of it, but we also only get state aid funds for 20% of our streets. So only 20% of our property owners would ever get a benefit for doing so.
So the per foot was figured off the 3 million, not the 2,298,000 or whatever.
The per foot was figured off of a reduced number to shrink the street down to a normal street. So it was only a 36 foot wide. It was
Truck route?
because this is a truck route, so that per foot number took the bid numbers and reduced what they were actually paying for. So a percentage of the road was taken away so that they aren't paying for the whole thing.
It brings it down to what other people would be paying on their projects that aren't an MSA as well.
After we got the bids in and you compare north to south, actually the per foot number for north was just a little bit below south. So a little bit cheaper than the south
If
portion.
we use this money, do we gotta pay state wages? Or
We're paying state wages on this project no matter what, because we bid it that way and we were using our state aid funds for it. So whether we just use our $930,000 or we use the 930,000 plus the 1,030,000. We're still doing state wages on this project. So this is a tool that is put into our state aid system so that cities like ours can afford to do some of these bigger projects. Many larger cities had not taken advantage of it until about 2 or 3 years ago. And then they actually, some larger cities started taking more advantage of it. And our state funds went into a place where we didn't want them to go. We were almost near a shortage. And so there are rating levels of when you're allowed to borrow and when you are not. We are currently at a green because we're ahead of everybody else in bidding. Not everybody's been able to come and ask for the money yet. It is best for us to be able to put this right in front of the DSAE tomorrow or in the very near future before these other projects have bid, and then they can request the funding. Because once the pot is gone, it's first come, first served, and we can't get that money appointed to the project anymore. We can always get our 930,000, but we can't get the advance.
Any other questions for Jenna?
So the 930,000 that we currently have available as a, positive balance is based off of that 206.46
Yeah,
rate that we haven't used
correct, up until now.
up until now. So borrowing the next 5 years worth, if that were to happen, what are we not going to have that money available for going forward?
So
For the next 4 or 5 years?
Going forward, as we look at our CIP, we don't have another project that's a state aid project.
Yeah.
So we don't have any projects that are actually qualified to use the money. Things that we can use that money for would be system upgrades to a signal that's on state right away instead of ours. Or anything on a CASA that's not, that we want to do and the county doesn't, or that the state, we want to get done but the state doesn't, and we would take action to do it. We can use our state aid funds on those things. There are also other funds we can apply for to do that same thing. There's safety funds, and there's, like, if you need to add a turn lane to a state highway, there's a certain funding for that we could go and ask for that funding because we want to do the project to add a turn lane, widen it, or extend something, but it's coming from state funds, and then we just run with doing the project.
Can we use state aid funds to put a stoplight in on Quick Trip?
What was that?
Can we use state aid funds to put a stoplight in on Quick Trip?
That I would actually go with safety, I forget which one it is, but with more of the safety funds. But yes, we could use our state aid funds to help with putting in anything at that intersection.
All right, we're getting a little off subject, but anyway. Any other questions for Jenna? If not, there's a motion in front of you to approve this request.
I'll make a motion.
Excuse me, I meant the motion's made.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Takes us on to our next one. Be Jenna again, resolution designating 10th Street Northwest. We can answer much more questions now. Request designation of 10th Street Northwest, County 35 to municipal state aid system. We previously accepted the turn back of County 35 from Olmsted County. It took some time for the state of Minnesota to accept the annexation of the right-of-way for the roadway, which is required prior to designation of the right-of-way to municipal state aid. Now that this has been completed, we have the ability to add this roadway to our system. This will add 1.59 miles of designation to our needs calculations. So the action that will be requested is approve resolution requesting that the Commissioner of Transportation designate 10th Street Northwest, County 35, from the easterly right-of-way of through Highway 90 to Main Street to 63 to be considered the county turnback of former County 35, MSA 115. Questions for Jenna? So Jenna, do you want to explain first? It's pretty basic, we're gonna get more money, right?
We're gonna get more miles, yes. And when I said previously that only 20% of our roads can be on the state aid system, this is not included in that 20%. This 1.59 miles will always be eligible for that state aid need draw funding, and it never goes against what our in-city miles times the 20% can equal. So it's basically bonus mileage.
Even when the city grows, say that.
Even when the city
Say
grows,
this-
because it was a CASA before it came in, it will now always draw
Okay.
funds for us. And that's what we're asking them to do, is apply it to our state aid system so that I can fill out the needs that this 1.59 miles does apply to calculate our percentage of the pot.
So, if the day ever comes that we take over County 120 or 6 over here, does that add to our state aid the same way?
It would
Even though
add,
it's already in our city?
correct. It would add into our system, and it doesn't go against our 20%.
Yeah.
So, it does, and that's one thing when Kay had her discussions with us that she brought up, you know, we would be drawing more. It's just the amount we would be drawing if we didn't get the roads improved upon to our standard. It would take a while to actually encumber the funds to improve it to our standard. So, so yes, this is one of the benefits, and the reason why we thought it was okay to take on CASA 35 is they had just improved the roadway, and we do draw this benefit.
Any other questions for Jenna?
And that's adding this 1.59 miles, obviously brings our mileage up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And that's why I said it will not take us the 5 years to pay back our advance.
What is our current, like, how many miles?
Oh, I do have that.
Nate, we're gonna be grilling you later on too. so-
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Let's see. Currently have that. We are at. We have 5.38 miles of highways or county roads in our jurisdiction that we do not take care of. We have 4.71 miles of state aid streets. But our total mileage is 26.73 miles. So we can run down, and the fact that you have to go on every cul-de-sac twice to get down and back, you're gonna run more. So
Alright,
I do have just over half of a mile of mileage that we could apply to a road, but I need to, there's rules to how they can be applied, and we need to strategically figure it out.
That's what we currently have, so that's not including what we're looking at having for.
I added it.
Okay.
well, you get these two taken care of first. Alright, you got the action in front of you, do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Motion to approve, do we have a second?
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That also carries. Thank you, Jenna. Mayor's staff and consultant reports. Mayor's report. Tonight, the city would like to send their sympathies to the families of Roger Briggs, Donnie Lyman, Gordon Dahl, and Linda Rude. Boy Scouts Troop 56 are holding their chili and soup feed on Sunday, March 5th. Be sure to support the local boys. This tax help sponsored by United Way. If interested, check the star on how to schedule an appointment. And let's all remember, coming right up, the end of the March is 24th, Toasted Taste, put up by the Community Foundation. Don't forget to go out, have a great time out there. It's always a good time, ain't it now?
Yes,
They give back to a lot of good projects, so we need to get out there. That's all I've got. City Administrator's report.
Reports in your packet, short one, nothing really to add tonight, so.
Any questions for Administrator? Alright, Public Works Director's report. Whoops, excuse me, I jumped right over, tonight I jumped over Finance Director. Usually I jump over Public Works. Finance Director.
We had the auditors here today, working on the audit, and they will be doing stuff, they were just on site today, but they'll be doing stuff through the end of the week. The workman's comp auditor was supposed to be here yesterday afternoon, but canceled due to the weather yesterday morning, because he travels. So far so good with everything going through and getting all the information that is needed for the audit. As soon as I have a draft audit, then we will do a finance meeting and kind of roll through some of that.
Great. Any questions for Carla? All right, thank you, Carla. Now, Public Works Director's report, John.
Reports in there, the only thing that I had is, we will clean Main Street up after our tsunami. But we can't get to it, we can't coordinate with the state till Sunday night, Monday, somewhere in that area. So, other than that, everything went well. It was kind of a dud compared to what they were forecasting, so.
Well, duds are all right once in a while too. Tell the guys, like I told you today, the citizen approached me, they're doing a great job, he really appreciates it, so let them know. City engineer report?
I think I covered enough.
Yeah, you did. Thanks, Jenna. Nate, Library Director's monthly report.
Above and beyond what's in my packet, I have a finalized time for PJ Tracy's visit to the library in May. She's gonna be here at 1:30 on that Saturday. We're really excited. It's gonna be 2 authors in like about a 10-day period, which I think is gonna be really fun. One of our pages just put in her 2-week notice. So hoping we can post her position and rather, if just conventionally, no big deal. Our tiny art show kits go live tomorrow at noon. That we have, we're making about 600 of those kits, which is far and away the most kits we've ever done before. 344 of those kits are going to the schools. We should have at least over 200 of them ready for our walk-in traffic and people who reserve them on Facebook. We're also sending a bunch to the Stewartville Care Center for seniors. These were largely paid for this year with a $1,000 grant from the Rochester Area Foundation. If you don't have anything going on Saturday, April Fool's Day, April 1st, we're gonna have an all-day reception when we put up the art. It's gonna be fun, and please swing by.
What exactly is a tiny art show kit?
Okay, so,
Oh gosh.
I fall for it every time. And I was like, yeah, I was ready for like a legacy funds joke about how you pay for it, and with this one, it is 2 small, like basically posted size canvases that I mounted onto like a black cardstock backing. I did 1,200 of those last weekend, and then so that goes in there with 4 colored pencils and 6 six colored inked pen, and some artist tags. And so like a kid or a grown-up or whomever can make a piece of art, have it, and it's, because we don't have a lot of space in the library, so it's like 3 by 3. So, it's a tiny art show. It's a lot of art, but they're all little.
I actually thought he was gonna ask you, what's this paint a pet?
Yeah, I figured that one out by the picture. Cause at first I was thinking that too, I'm like, what?
Bring a cat in and spray
Yeah,
paint.
correct. That's where my mind went too. Then I saw the picture, I'm like,
Oh, I get it.
Right, yeah, so people submit a photo of their pet, the artist running a class, does a canvas drawing, of them, and then they get to kind of paint by numbers, make their pet.
well, that explains why all of them turned out so good. I was trying to figure out like,
Yeah, that piece, that tail.
oh, that's cool.
All right, any other questions for Nate? And we did, yep, thank you, Nate, you did.
Did you make a lot of spotted cow disappear while you were gluing little?
I wish.
All right, committee commission board reports, Chamber of Commerce. Nothing in the packet tonight. Al, you know of anything coming up?
We got that job fair coming up,
Oh, okay,
so.
great. EDHRA,
Met last week,
oh, we got a real cool report about ready for college and careers. What else did we do there?
that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, biggest thing, yeah. All right, finance. We're gonna meet, Carlos says we're gonna meet here shortly, we're gonna get the auditor's report and meet. Library,
Tuesday. Yep,
Huh?
we meet on Tuesday and just had the,
You bet last night, the meeting on Tuesday.
why don't you make everybody on your board do a tiny art deal?
I'm pushing for them, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll run and grab 5 of them if the council
Guess
needs
we can
one.
pass a resolution if they have to do it. Park board,
I think next month we have a meeting.
personnel, planning zoning, public safety. Jason, you got anything?
You should have the January calls for service number.
Got it.
Okay, and then, I also tabulated that for the month of January, we had 8 custodial arrests, 21 citations, and then we had 11 parking citations and 1 snow emergency for the month of January. Other than that, I have nothing else to add.
All right, questions for Jason? All right, public works? Ready,
Meeting tomorrow,
roll call,
report,
transit advisory committee,
they're meeting coming up here on the 16th.
communications, none in the packet, open mic. Al, do you wanna use the mic? All right, we're looking for the final.
I'll move to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn, we got a second from Jeremiah, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?